For the longest time, guys, I was looking for a Windows laptop that's going to last me for a long time. One that doesn't claim to have 15 hours of battery life and then dies after 2.5 hours, or even worse, overheats when I'm just editing spreadsheets. Now, Microsoft has made a really pivotal shift when it comes to their new Surface 7 series of laptops. This particular one is the 13.8-inch version, and it is the Surface Laptop 7th generation. I've already sort of removed the paper packaging just to make sure that the laptop is charged, but once we take the laptop out, you can see it in its full beauty. The way this metal has been machined is absolutely impressive. I mean, take a look at these low tolerances. This is absolutely great. I'll flip the camera in just a moment. This particular color is called Sapphire, and I absolutely love it. It comes in 4 different colors, silver and gray, so on and so forth. Not sure how those are called, but for just a moment, let's go ahead and put the laptop away and take a look at this. This portion of the box is completely empty to hold the laptop in place, but inside the box, we really don't get a lot, which is a customary thing now. And we just get the power cable as well as the charging brick. And Microsoft has opted to use their usual magnetic connector. On the laptop itself, we have the charging port on the right side of the laptop. On the other end, we have an audio jack, a Type A port, and 2 Type C ports. These are Thunderbolt ports. They're really fast. In fact, this laptop, in comparison to Apple laptops, not only has a touchscreen, but it can also power not just 2 monitors, but actually 3 4K monitors, not including the monitor on the laptop itself. I'm not going to use 4 monitors at the same time, but I think for someone who does video editing or creative stuff, I think it's going to be super nice to have the ability to use more monitors than on the Apple computer. That's really nice. What's a little different on this one here compared to the other laptops is that Microsoft has done a pivotal thing this year, and they've actually included a new thing called the Neural Processing Unit on this laptop. They figured if we can have AI everywhere on our phones and everywhere, might as well have a Neural Processing Unit on the laptop itself that's been designed by Microsoft, so we can process all the AI stuff on here locally and we don't have to send things to the clouds, to whatever capacity you want to think. This is the setup screen. Appreciate the high resolution display that this laptop has. It's not only high resolution, but it's actually HDR as well as 120 Hertz, and it's actually touchscreen as well, so I can tap on this and just go to the next menu. I don't care what people say. Sometimes I do get to use the touchscreen if I want to summon the Windows button, close a window, or if I want to sign something. It is used in certain scenarios, especially if you're holding a laptop like this. You can use your thumbs for that. So use it a little more than you think you will. Speaking of the ergonomics on the keyboard hasn't really changed so much. The keys look sort of similar. They're a little more grippy, actually. The touchpad is absolutely wonderful, though it's not something new. We're kind of used to seeing this kind of high quality touchpad on laptops like the ones that Dell makes, but this is a really nice the touchpad with tactile feedback. It's just one piece. You can do multitasking. It's pretty slippery, which is really nice. And you do get tactile feedback when you press on it, which is really nice. The inclusion of a new key. We now have a Windows key on the left, and with the new requirement, we now have a new Copilot button on the right side of the keyboard. The Copilot button is there to serve to summon the Copilot, Microsoft Copilot or Windows Copilot, whatever you want to call it. That's your personal assistant that uses the NPU on the laptop itself or in the cloud in order to answer questions and create certain things. It'll be deeply integrated inside Office applications, inside Windows, and so on and so forth going forward. When it comes to the laptop itself, it doesn't overheat sitting in my hand, which is really good. And Microsoft claims that it has about 22 hours of local playback time on one battery charge, which is super impressive, folks, because remember back in the day, we used to have laptops that would say, okay, 15 hours, and then realistically, it's less. It's like 7 or even 5 or even less than that. Now, I'm not sure how Microsoft has gotten that 22-hour number because there's a little asterisk on it. I think they've brought the brightness down a lot, but I'll be doing some testing in a future video and I'll tell you what the battery life is like. I'm sure if you're doing some web browsing and then you have the brightness up, it might be somewhere along the lines of maybe 15, 14 hours, but still really impressive. So far, it doesn't heat up. I absolutely love it. When it comes to colors, yes, there's 4 different colors. It does have a new HD or full HD camera for Windows Hello and for video conferencing, which is really, really nice to have. I absolutely love it because cameras on laptops are usually subpar, but hopefully this one's going to do a little more justice. The MPU itself is pretty powerful. It can do up to 45 trillion operations per second, which is a lot, but for AI, it's a really impressive number. In fact, Microsoft says that this particular laptop is about 86% faster than the previous one. Again, I'm not sure how Microsoft has gotten those numbers, perhaps some real-life benchmarks or synthetic benchmarks, but the one thing I can tell you is that if the claims are true, which will be validated in our future video, if you haven't upgraded your Windows laptop in the past year, 2 years, or even 4 years, the usual upgrade cycle is like 4 to 5 years. And this one should be a really good addition to whatever you're currently using. It should be pretty powerful. Now, the one thing to remember is that it uses the ARM architecture, which means not every application is supposed to be compatible, but Microsoft worked really hard, and I've talked to their representatives. They're converting a lot of applications to native ARM architecture. They also have a translational layer that will automatically in real time convert the previous x86 applications to whatever this is running. So you should not in theory have any issues with compatibility, but that is to be tested. This particular version that I have has 16 gigs of RAM and 512 gigabytes of internal storage. You can spec it all the way up to 1 terabyte of internal storage and 64 gigabytes of RAM, which is pretty nice. I'm really curious how this is going to work with creative applications such as Adobe Premiere Pro or even CapCut. In fact, when I've talked about the compatibility, some of the applications that Microsoft is converting over, which they already have, are CapCut, the Office applications, WebEx, and they're working on Premiere Pro as well as After Effects. It's really exciting to see. This is the 13.8-inch Sapphire Color Windows Surface laptop. They also have a 15-inch variant and also have the Pro, which I will cover in a separate video. Let me know if you want to see the Pro with the cover and the pen. I really applaud Microsoft for taking this leap of faith and converting everything into an ARM architecture, but I think they were sort of forced to do that because you cannot have such a wonderful small form factor with such long battery life on the x86 platform. But yeah, we'll see how this proves to be, and thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.